Brazil who got that goal. So Brazil are 1 goal to the good right now. As it stands right now, that means Brazil will comfortably win this group and possibly, and definitely avoid playing the Netherlands. But despite the statistic that we said about how many teams have come from behind to win, I don't see how this Cameroon team is going to beat Brazil in Brasilia. But back to the game, it'll be tomorrow's game. It'll be a huge surprise if Japan overcome Colombia. Colombia have been really, really decent. The way and manner in which they've taken out the opposition, they're very tactically aware, very good players. They haven't missed Radamel Falcao as such, but they would have really loved the better.
This is what it looks like in Group C. That's the table for you.
That's the table.
After 2 matches, Colombia have 6 points, followed by our African brothers, Cote d'Ivoire, courtesy of that win over Japan. Japan there, 1 point, with Greece, 1 point. If the Ivorians don't shoot themselves on the foot, I mean, you would expect that.
Well, you'd expect, I mean, with the way and manner which Cote d'Ivoire, with the display they had against Colombia, they were not overwhelmed. They were not outplayed. They were just a bit naive at the most inopportune of moments. So if they can have all that sorted out, I think I think Greece will have more than enough to contend with. I don't see how Japan is going to overcome Colombia. So let's just say it's a given that Colombia will qualify from that group. Even if it ends a draw, Colombia will qualify with that group, from that group with 7 points. But the real cracker, the real match itself is that game between Cote d'Ivoire and Greece. Whoever wins that game will make it to the second round. If Greece wins, they come second behind Colombia. If Cote d'Ivoire win or they draw, the minimum Cote d'Ivoire need from that game is a draw.
Yeah.
And they'll be through.
Okay.
So I think the match is poised very nicely for Cote d'Ivoire. They can afford a draw, but you cannot say the same for Greece. They have to win in order to stay in this competition. But Cote d'Ivoire, they can afford to sit back, hit them on the counter, soak up plenty of the pressure, and see themselves into the second round behind Colombia.
Okay. Let's go to Group D quickly. Onye was smiling the other time I mentioned Italy and Uruguay, and I'm going to allow you to have your say. Italy and Uruguay, Costa Rica and England. England having only pride to play for. I mean, there's nothing in this for them. But the big one, Italy and Uruguay. Onye, let me allow 2 teams. I mean, somebody has to win.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Costa Rica has proved that this World Cup, anything can happen. You know, they have 6 points
ahead of these 2.
They have 6 points, and they meet England that their situation is more or less like that of Spain and Cameroon. They are out of the tournament. They are dispirited. They are disenchanted. You know, a lot of things.
Their players talking about quitting the national team.
I mean, so the Costa Rica, you know, is England are theirs for the taking. I don't see how they are going to, because when you play with so much quality players and you don't get the desired results, playing the last game will be difficult. Sometimes the players will even pull out of the game. So I don't see how they are going to, you know, inspire themselves to play against a Costa Rican team that is high on confidence. Then Uruguay, Italy. I mean, that should be the pick of the pack for that group, because the 2 teams need to win.
But you know,
but a draw, yes. A draw will definitely see Italy through, because they have
goals difference.
On goals difference. So that is the issue there. But for England, no Steven Gerrard.
Frank
Lampard is poised to play possibly his last international game. Luke Shaw will come in for Leighton Baines as well. A few changes might be made to the line.
No, wholesale changes. Yeah. Roy Hodgson said he's going to try and rotate the squad.
Since they have no chance of qualifying from this group, so just to give a lot of players a runabout and a feel of the World Cup as well. But for the Costa Rican, you have to. It's an unbelievable story. No one. I'm looking for someone who can tell me that he had the belief that Costa Rica would top this group, and I'm sure I can't find any. And the secret, a lot of people has alluded to their coach Jose Pinto, who had insisted that the only time the players would be allowed to have intimate relations or sex with their partners. I'm telling you exactly what the issue is. He said they'll only be allowed to do that once they make it to the second round. And if you give a man that kind of promise, you can see the way they've gone about decimating their opponents.
The way they have responded. But quickly, before we leave, we need to go on a break now. The fact that England is going to be the second team, so to speak, would it make it easy for Costa Rica? Or would they still be inspired?
Well, it could be a two-edged sword. The players that
didn't play,
that Roy Hodgson, the players that is going to field, might want to prove a point that they are good enough. After the World Cup, they can lay claim to starting lineup. they could also be dispirited. Okay. You know, it could be. After all, I was not good enough for the last 2 crucial matches. So why are you playing me now?
Work, it could
and they may not play well, so it could work or it could backfire. But for England, I mean, it's a sad story.
Okay.
It's a sad story.
Okay. We're going to go on a break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about our own Super Eagles. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll be talking about the Super Eagles, and hopefully our man in Brazil, Toyin Bitoye, will join us via Skype.